Bend the knee!
Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Don Woolley coming back at you again with another video. This time, I'm going to be talking to you about the Night's Watch. Now, as you can see, I'm not coming to you from the wall because, damn it, winter is here and I am not trying to get trapped battling the White Walkers. Unlike Jon Snow, I do not have any Dragonglass or Valyrian Steel, and I don't want to die. So, let's talk about the Night's Watch. So, the Night's Watch is an ancient military order that's roughly about 8,000 years old that was formed after the Long Night, where the first men, the last hero, and the children of the forest and giants defeated the White Walkers and sent them back to the lands of always winter. Now, the Night's Watch mainly patrol and guard a 700-foot ice wall, which is on the northern border of Westeros, or at least the parts of Westeros which most people inhabit. Now, there are inhabitants above the wall, which most people call the wildlings. They refer to themselves as the free folk, and they adhere to no king. Now, since the White Walkers have not been around until recently, the Night's Watch has primarily been, fighting wildling invasions from the north of the wall to the south. And they are consisted of three orders led by a Lord Commander. Those three orders are the Stewards, the Rangers, and the Builders. Stewards are your administrators. They, oversee your day-to-day tasks such as supplies, record keeping, uh, recruit levels, etc., etc. Your Rangers are your warriors. Those are the ones who mainly go out and battle the wildlings and assess any military threats to the wall or to the actual country itself from north of the wall. And then your builders, those are the people who maintain the wall itself and also the various castle structures which are currently in use by the Night's Watch. And speaking of castles which are currently in use, there are three of them right now. One being Castle Black, which is your main castle, which houses the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, who is basically your supreme military general of the Night's Watch itself. We have Eastwatch by the Sea, which is the easternmost castle on the easternmost shore of Westeros. And then you have Shadow Tower, which is on your westernmost end of the wall. Now, there are 19 castles altogether, but because of dwindling membership over the past 8,000 years, only 3 castles are currently inhabited. Now, it is said that the Night's Watch was most likely started by the Starks and various Northmen after the Long Night, because this is before the invasion of the Andals. And Starks are one of the main houses who have donated or volunteered men into the ranks. So many Starks have been Lord Commanders, but there are Lord Commanders of many other houses as well. And unlike any of the other military orders that are around Westeros or even the sellsword companies that inhabit the globe, the Night's Watch is a volunteer army who do not fight for money, they do not fight for land, they do not fight for titles. They basically pledge their service to guard the realm for basically the promise of, a hot meal and a place to stay. Now, these guys are not going to be folk legends because most people are just not going to know who they are due to their proximity away from the rest of Seven Kingdoms. They are in the far north, in the northernmost border of Westeros, and again, it's many Northmen, especially, who volunteer for the Night's Watch. And it used to be a high honor, but since most people do not recognize the White Walker threat and do not believe the White Walkers are a threat and have not believed so for a very long time, most people now who inhabit the Night's Watch who are not of Northern descent are usually those who are convicts who are looking for an escape from their possible sentencing. So you might have somebody who convicted of rape or thievery or murder, and in order for them to escape whatever sentence they would have gotten otherwise, they decided to join the Night's Watch, and all of their various trespasses would be forgiven, uh, provided that they stay faithful and do their duty as a man of the Night's Watch. Now, I say man of the Night's Watch because women are not allowed to join this particular order. And the one instance that we know of where a woman actually did sneak into the Night's Watch, when it was found out that she was a woman, unfortunately for her, she was raped and murdered. So obviously, after that, they've been pretty strict on, just, I guess, their not their selection process, but making sure that it is only men who actually are joining the Night's Watch and not any women in disguise. So we are first introduced to, I guess, even the concept of the Night's Watch in the first book of Game of Thrones, also first season, by Benjen Stark. Now, he comes to Winterfell to see his brother Ned, but also to see the king at the time, which was Robert Baratheon, and possibly, talk about getting some more people sent from the dungeons in King's Landing all the way up to the wall to be recruits for the Night's Watch. And he was the first ranger, which is basically the head of the ranger order. And he's the guy who goes out on most of your missions, leads most of your expeditions north of the wall to battle wildlings and any other threats that might be traveling south. And when Jon Snow tells him that he wants to join Night's Watch, Benjen, basically tells him, look, this might not be the thing that you want to do. You're still young. You know, this is not an easy life. There's a lot that you're going to have to give up for it. And, Jon doesn't necessarily understand fully what he would be signing up for. But because Ned Stark decided that he wanted to take the position of Hand of the King, it kind of left Jon with no choice because Catelyn Stark said that she would not have him stay at Winterfell, and it pretty much wasn't anything else for Jon to do or nowhere else for him to go that he would be accepted due to his bastard status. Now, the Night's Watch, it doesn't matter whether or not you are a noble bastard or whether you just come from common stock or whatever. You can rise to being Lord Commander or any other thing that you aspire to be in the Night's Watch. And once you say your vows and take the oath, you're considered to be a brother. It's not just a military order; it is also a brotherhood, and for the most part, they have each other's backs. So currently in the Night's Watch, you have a cast of characters that we're introduced to, and some of them don't always get along. Some of them do get along very well. You have Jon Snow, who's the current Lord Commander, his best friend Samwell Tarly, and also Dolorous Ed, and Pip and Gren, who are also good friends of Jon Snow. And these guys didn't all start off as the best of friends. Jon Snow was somebody who came into the situation a little bit arrogant because of his status as a noble born man, but Also, he had a chip on the shoulder for being a bastard and being treated lower than the other children in his house. So, over time, Jon gained the respect of many of the men of the Night's Watch, even though there were people there who didn't like him and still don't. Mainly, one of them being Alistair Thorne, who was a Targaryen loyalist, but after Robert's rebellion, he was, again, it's like, hey, either you can get your head chopped off, or you can lose all your lands and titles and go join the Night's Watch. So obviously, we know which one he chose. So the Night's Watch, their primary focus was to battle the White Walker threat. But since the White Walkers haven't been seen in about 8,000 years or so, pretty much, people look at it almost as a joke right now. So you don't have as many people who are signing up for the Night's Watch of their own volition. I mean, it is a volunteer army, but not too many people are volunteering for it nowadays because the only thing that they know about is fighting the wildlings. And it's like, all right, well, I got plenty of people I can fight where I'm from, or I can join a sellsword company, and at least if I'm going to fight, I'm going to fight for some money, get some women, because there are many things that the Night's Watch has to swear off. They have to, like, if you were a noble, you'd have to give up your land. You have to give up the title of being noble. You can't, stay married. You can't further your lineage, so you can't have more kids. There are those who have given up their lands and titles and given it to their children so that they can, further their lineage without breaking the vows of the Night's Watch. One being Lord Commander Jeor Mormont, father of Sir Jorah Mormont. And, Night's Watch is something that I think overall in the story, when they look at the retrospective, people are gonna be glad that the Night's Watch actually existed, because had it not been for them to warn the rest of Westeros what was coming, after the final battle, who knows what may have happened. Now, I'm speaking from a place where we haven't seen the final repercussions of what could happen, whether the wall will come down or not. But I'm guessing that you know there will be a place of reverence in the long run for the Night's Watch and for those who have stood at the wall for those generations upon generations. Yeah, there are many famous characters in the story who have become Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. Jon Snow being currently the most famous. We also have Brendan Rivers, aka Bloodraven. We have the man who is currently leading the White Walkers. We do not know his actual name, but he is known as the Night's King. There have been other men. We have a gentleman whose name currently escapes me, but actually he tried to leave the Night's Watch to his son, obviously, which would be in strict violation of holding lands and titles, because to will something like that to your child would obviously be giving him lands and titles that were not yours to claim in the first place. But overall, I think the Night's Watch is something that is needed for the story. It brings a richness and also a different perspective that we haven't very well seen. It's compared a lot to the Knights Templar, but also I've heard it compared to like the UN peacekeepers to a certain extent. Now these guys aren't a religious order of anything, but they do again guard the realms of men, and they do not take part in any actual king's wars. So, like for example, the War of the Five Kings that took place, they had no part in it because it is not their place to get involved in such squabbles. Um, but I'm pretty sure if Westeros needed them for something else, they, there might be something in their bylaws that that allows them to fight threats that are already south of the wall, if they are threatening the actual kingdom itself and not necessarily pose a threat to the ruling class of the crown. So, we'll have to see what happens and how this thing evolves with the Night's Watch. And, will there be a Night's Watch when the story ends? That is something that we do not know because, who knows, there may not even be a need for it after it's all over. If the White Walkers are defeated once and for all, if that's even possible, right? So, anyway, you guys already know the deal. Rate, comment, subscribe, share, tell your friends, come back for more. Leave me some suggestions for any kind of organization or even personal profile that you would like me to discuss. Anyway, that's been my time. Don Willie, I'm out.